Brownie? You're messing everything up here. Creating a traffic jam. Let's go, kids. Oh. Come on, kids. Oh, gotta clear the snow out of the bunks. Oh, maybe. Shoot. Might be froze. Come on, kids. What's up, Fuzz? Fuzzy. 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 Ow. Hey. Ice. Woo! It is cold. We got about 4 inches of snow, but out here with even a small wind, it tends to drift pretty bad in places. So 4 inches can look like 12 in places. That's okay. Open this water up for the calves. Pitchfork, usually a little better at digging the ice out, but in these small tubs we use, not always. I usually just try to get the big pieces out. Because the more you leave in there, the faster it will refreeze. And you can't, tell a cow or a calf, like, hey, come get a drink, and they'll listen. Right, Brownie? Good job, kids. Fuzz. Fuzzy. I don't have any food for Fuzzy. I stink. Stink or move it, girl. Move it, stink. Up. Now we'll go check their hay. I've got a couple bales that I'm gonna unroll for them. We also want to make sure their feeders are full. we've got tank heaters in these. However, when it gets below like 10, 15 degrees, they keep up enough to where the cows can break through the ice, still get a drink, but they don't keep up well enough to where like they're keeping it open. So we still gotta come open it back up, because if you let it sit, the ice will just get thicker and thicker. And then the cows eventually won't be able to push through it. Then you got a situation. Oh, some of these chunks of ice weigh freaking 50 pounds. But as you can see, this is why I like to use the pitchfork as opposed to like an axe. It just makes this go so much quicker. I'm hoping the angle is right on this video. I meant to put it on here, like test it out, but I forgot to put it on when I came over here, and it's just too cold to be fiddling around with stuff. Looks good. Found Mr. Possum in here just the other day. And he's really pretty peaceful. He just naps. Now we will go and roll a couple bales across the road. Now that the snow is mostly done, that way you can have something to lay down on. But first, let's put some gas in the old rig. I'm hoping I'm making the right choice by taking the truck. If there's too much snow, too much ice, it's an easy decision for the tractor. Obviously, much better ground clearance, tractor tires, all that good stuff. I did put Goodyear Duratrax on this thing specifically for this white stuff, and I've been pleasantly surprised like all the way around. This truck doesn't get many road miles on it. It's mostly just to and from our pastures and in the pasture. But for mud, snow, ice, I've been very pleased. Which is probably what I'll do. I'll unroll these 2 bales. Cows will be excited. And then I think I'll go have a turkey sandwich with Grandma. I'm probably gonna end up taking this feeder off of this bale bed. My wife's grandpa used to use it, but our feed bunk situation has changed since then, and the calves currently don't eat out of the feed bunks that he had set up. And so someday that will change. When I redo the pens, rebuild the pens, build new stuff, new facilities, we'll get that set back up. But in the meantime, it just makes it so difficult to see out of this thing. And I don't know if you can tell, but our side mirrors here have seen better days. So yeah, might be something I change. But hopefully this summer I can start on building some new facilities to make life easier for myself and my wife when she's able to help in getting our calves loaded to take to the butcher. The other day we had one that the end of its tail got pulled off, about this much of it, just the fluffy part. I found it in their shelter that they have, And chances are she was laying down and another calf stepped on the end of it, and she went to get up. Her tail stayed put, and off the end of it came. Not a huge deal. It stopped bleeding, but we caught her and just gave her a little antibiotics, just to make sure, you know, no infection, nothing crazy happened. But she's doing good. That was a few days ago. But with rebuilding the facilities like I want to, will come a chute. We did have one, but we had a tornado come through a couple years ago and take like our alleyway that was attached to the barn that blew down. It took our working facility with it, so the alleyway and stuff, and so we don't have a chute with our feedlot calves, and so we had to load her up and bring her over here to this main pasture, and we have a working facility in the calf pen. You might have seen it, a chute in there, so we had to bring her over here and treat her and then load her back up and take her back over there. So yeah. Girls ain't used to seeing this antenna on my head. You ever wonder what your animal thinks of you? You just have a dog or a cat, you know, and you do content, or you just like to wear funny hats or funny clothes. You know, do you think they have an opinion of us? If they're ashamed of their owner, like you come out of the bedroom and you're like, golly, this guy again. What is he wearing? Is that just me? This net wrap on these bales is a real joy. When it snows, this ain't bad. The snow ain't bad. It's when it sleets and there's ice. This stuff is a nightmare. A nightmare to get off of these bales. So the other day I had put away about a dozen bales or so to keep them out of the elements, because we're in Kansas. You never know what it's gonna do. They'll say it's gonna snow 6 inches, it'll sleet 1 inch. They'll say it's gonna ice 2 inches, it'll be 50 and sunny. You just never know. I forgot to kind of warm up the hydraulics on the bale bed, but as you can see, it's pretty handy. We can unroll bales with it, and on days like today, the cows appreciate a nice dry place to lay, and they can choose to eat it, they can choose to lay on it, they can choose to do both. We have a couple hay fields that need a little bit of attention. They have these little like hedge trees, and they grow like a couple few feet out of the ground, but they produce these gnarly thorns, and the grass around it or around those is all good, you know, but well, see what happens when stuff freezes and stuff. If I wouldn't have seen that, it'd have been a bad deal. I would have ripped that plate off probably. See if I can cut this stuff off of here. Woo. Man, she's stuck. So I thought I had this under shelter enough, but you know, snow blows in. There we go. And gets in places like this. Tries to create issues. We ain't having none of that today. Pays to remain observant. But as I was saying, we have a couple fields that I need to do some work on, some spraying to get rid of that stuff. But when we bale those fields, I bring the bales back and I just put an X on them, because what I found is when we put these bales out and those cows bite into one of those plants that have those thorns in them, they probably say a few choice words in their own language, and then they'll stop eating the bale. They'll say, man, fuck this. I need any more of this. So then it'll just sit there. So it just makes it easy for me to know which bales are gonna be best to unroll, because I don't necessarily care if they waste it. They can use it as bedding and they can pick out the good stuff a little easier. This one's got a good spot picked out here. What do you think, girls? Cows actually don't mind this weather. When it gets brutal cold, like negative temperatures, you know, they'll start to huddle up and they won't move around a whole lot. But when it gets like, you know, when it's like 20 degrees, 30 degrees, they're like little kids. They'll start running and jumping around because they're comfortable. They got thick skin, lots of fur. Now they have enough hay in their feeders and they are good. Later this afternoon I'll come back over here and see if they've eaten any down, and maybe just throw an extra one out for them, just so I don't have to worry about it real early in the morning. Currently I'm on this schedule of waking up at about 4 o'clock in the morning and driving out here and doing morning chores, and then going back home getting kids ready for school, taking them to school, and then doing some stuff that I need to do to help my wife with our mobile veterinary practice. And then I come back out here, and then I, some days go pick kids up. It's a lot of driving. That's not ideal. But yeah, we don't actually live out here on the ranch like a lot of farmers and ranchers do. It's kind of the plan eventually, but grandma, that's my wife's grandma, still lives out here. Actually, since I'm using the truck, I'm just gonna go grab a couple of bales that are out in the pile outside. The snow actually isn't bad. It's like real fine, like powdery. The last snow we had, when it snowed almost a foot, was real wet and heavy. And it also sleeted like a half inch before it snowed all that. And man, that was rough. That was rough. But this isn't like that, so that's good. But I am excited for the hay. Here in a few months, we'll be greasing equipment up, getting stuff ready to make hay. And when we have these big snows like this, it slowly soaks into the ground. And let's see, what do I want to do? I'm gonna go get one that I want to unroll first. But yeah, the snow, it soaks down into the ground nice and slow, and it just gives the grass just kind of a jump start in growing. And when it starts to get a little bit warmer, spring hits, hopefully we'll get some good spring showers. And this last year we had an excellent hay crop. And so with all this snow we've had this year, I am looking forward to another great hay crop. I'm trying to put the camera so you can kind of see in this side mirror kind of what I'm doing. But essentially, like, all of our hay are kept in rows like this, which I think is what most people do. But you just back up to them, you grab it with the forks, pull it forward, flip around, and then kind of pick it up as close to center as you can. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Our area where we keep our hay is rough. So when all of the snow melted from our last big storm, when it melted, it of course is just turned straight to mud. And the mud gets so bad that I don't even think about using the truck. It's straight to the tractor, and the tractor creates big ruts. And when those ruts refreeze, like today, it makes for a rough time. Pull this out here, out of all the way of these ruts. Hopefully. And these two bales are going to our feedlot calves. So they ate one of the bales down in one of the feeders. They're working on the other one that's still got plenty in it. So we will unroll a bale for them. And we'll replace the other one in the feeder. All right, let's feed our calves. Uh-oh. You know, this little fella here, he's been camping out in here the last couple days. Our little possum friend. He ain't no shop cat. I think he's just trying to find a warm place to lay. Can't be mad at him. Oh. Possums ain't bad creatures. They get rid of snakes. Get rid of insects. They eat ticks. For that, I love them. Kids. Come on, kids. Oh, he just laid down. Welcome to our makeshift feedlot. I can't remember if I mentioned it in another video. I don't think I did. So 2 years ago, we had a tornado, small tornado, come through, and it didn't touch the house, so that's good. But we had a over 100-year-old barn. I think you can see the foundation right here. That we were actually in the process of getting some grant money through the state for. To assist with rebuilding it. It was an old dairy barn, but while in the works to get that done, which the government, being the government, it was a slow process, but it blew down. And with that barn were some facilities. We had an alleyway and a chute that was there that we used to treat sick calves. Our loadout area was there, and that all got torn up when the tornado came through. I think in the future I'm going to put a little video together just explaining the process from raising a calf to getting them prepared for slaughter, for consumption. So for those that are looking to move out into the country, you know, and find a little piece of land, for those that are already there, you know, just explain what's needed and the process of going about finding the information to raise your own beef. You know, from purchasing the animal to fencing, grass, hay, trailers, you know, all that good stuff. And it sounds expensive, but it doesn't have to be, especially on a small scale. So look out for that video in the future. We'll do a little talking. Till then, see you guys later.